Hello, on this Wednesday, the big weather news, the release of new climate normals that we use. We use the 30-year average to give us a better picture of the current climate, not the historical climate, because when we look at that, we're definitely much warmer than the 20th century average. In fact, we can see this as we compare it to the 20th century, mid-century average. We're about 1.6 degrees warmer, but only a half a degree warmer than the previous 30-year normal we used, which was 1981 to 2010. Now we're using 1991 to 2020, but it is a lot wetter, and most of the country warmer than the 20th century average, and that includes even when we look at just the shift in the 30-year averages, though the Midwest, one of the least changes of the previous 30-year normals. Much wetter though, the Midwest and the East seeing an increase, a notable increase in precipitation on an annual basis, and the Southwest is getting drier, so hotter, drier in the Southwest, warmer for everybody, but less of a warming in the previous 30-year shift across much of Minnesota, but definitely wetter. Look at this. Some spots 2 inches plus more precip on an annual basis, including the metro, about 1 to 2 inches more water per year than what we had in the previous 30-year normal, and that makes sense. The warmer the atmosphere, the more water it does actually hold. So that is in line with what we're seeing in places that do see precip. And we have some of that off to our west today, in fact. Low pressure across the Dakotas. Now, half the models keep a lot of the precip just to our south, kind of nicking us here late this afternoon, and then half do have it just into the metro. So not a big precip maker for any of us today, but here's 3 o'clock. Maybe some showers right on the edge of the metro into the late afternoon, early evening hours, and then drying out overnight tonight into most of tomorrow. And then another system comes in from the northeast, mostly northeastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin. But again, a couple models give us a brief shower. That would be late tomorrow night, so it'd be in the overnight hours anyway. So not a ton of precip. So here's one of our shorter term models, keeps most of the accumulating precip just to our south. So primarily southern Minnesota, the southernmost counties, and then maybe into some of the South Metro. But here's the European model. And again, about half the models do bring it just into the metro, but we're talking about a 1/10 of an inch or less. And then northern Minnesota largely missed by this round of precip that we see today. The other big story, yeah, we're in a cooler pattern since the heat of the weekend. The next 7 days keep temperatures cooler than normal for basically the Midwest. Into the Northeast, we've just got this blocking pattern across parts of the Arctic and Greenland, but still warmer than average in the West and up towards Alaska. But then watch the shift as we head into the next 7 days. So days 7 through 14 from now, we see the warmth build here in much of the central and eastern part of the country. Still pretty warm into Canada, but maybe the west coast gets in on some cooler than normal temperatures. And the main reason for this is the shift in the upper level pattern. So we've got this trough kind of sitting here in the east, but notice those brown contours. This is the middle of the atmosphere. We call these heights, the height that the 500 millibar or middle atmospheric pressure occurs at, and that lifts north. So that allows warmer air to move in, and we are going to see that shift to a warmer pattern probably late next week. So still, again, about the next week worth of temperatures below normal, but not as cold as, of course, the cooler stuff we had in April. So hovering around 60, but by late next week, you can see this is the Canadian model pushing us back into the low 70s. So warmer temperatures will be back here late next week. That's what's nice about spring. The trajectory is upward, even if you're in a slump. Mid 50s today, those clouds again racing in pretty quick. Some showers late this afternoon, but again, the metro probably on the northern edge of those showers late this afternoon into the early evening. Tomorrow we see the return of some sun, but a few clouds popping back up in the afternoon, 61, and we kind of hover into the low 60s into early next week, but mainly dry after today with that warming trend late next week.